a group of progressive organizations has sent a letter to Joe Biden reminding him that he made a pretty lofty promise when he was running for president. And that promise was that he was going to appoint a bipartisan commission to examine the Supreme Court, the problems with it, to see if maybe we need to move forward with some kind of reform of the Supreme Court that is now squarely in the hands of Republicans. And these progressive organizations said, no, you've only been in office just a couple days now, but let's not forget what you promised us. This is a big deal. And they're correct. Every day, every week, right, that the Supreme Court is not kind of retooled, we run the risk of these Republicans in the majority overturning vital pieces of legislation, taking away our rights as both human beings and consumers, siding with corporations, causing more harm to us. This isn't something that can wait. Okay, this isn't something that Biden can say, you know what, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, maybe, then we'll convene the commission and, you know, we'll investigate it. We'll look at it. We'll take about 100 days, I think is what they want to do, to see if any changes need to be made. Then we'll draft the proposals on what changes need to be made. And then we'll see if we can get a... We're talking years at that point, folks. We really are talking years at that point if they do not get this done now. Having 50 Democrats in the Senate, or 50 Democrats, which includes independents who caucus with the Democrats, that's likely to go away after the midterms. Probably going to go back to Republicans. So this is something that has to be done immediately. And that's, you know, these groups are saying, and by the way, you can't just put random bipartisan people, put people who are actually serious about reforming the court. Now, here's the issue I have with this. If you think the Supreme Court is the only court in the country that matters, you don't belong talking about politics in the United States. If you think the Supreme Court really is the ultimate authority, you don't belong talking about politics in the United States. The Supreme Court hears, I think, 115 cases a year. About 40,000 cases are decided, finalized in the lower courts around this country, upon which 25% of the justices who sit there are from Donald Trump. We cannot just reform the Supreme Court and think everything's going to be okay. The entire judicial branch of the government is a disaster. And it has been for decades. Let's not think that this is a problem that just started with Trump. Trump made it worse, sure. But he's got to do something about all the courts. And the biggest and baddest and most important thing we have to do that, believe it or not, a lot of Republicans agree with, but this is the hardest thing to do, is term limits. Nobody in this country, no matter what the position is, should be appointed to something for life. That's insane. That is just nuts that we do that. Like, hey, you're 33 years old, right? And that's some of the justices Trump has appointed were 33. You've never tried a case in your life. You've never actually been to court. How would you like to be a district judge till you die or retire? At 33. That's crazy. Let's not do that anymore. But in order to do that, you would need a constitutional amendment. And then, oh boy, you are talking about a lot of work. But it's a lot of work that we could actually get done. I mean, you could frame term limits for judges across the country, federal judges, under both terms. Republicans can sell it as, do you want these liberals making these decisions for the rest of their lives? Republicans say, oh, hell no, I'm voting for this amendment. You sell it to Democrats like, do you want these Republicans taking away your rights for the rest of your life? Well, hell no, I'm voting for term limits. It's a pretty easy sell. You know, when you cut the politics out of it and you just get right down to common sense, things are a lot more clear, right? Unfortunately, politicians don't live in the world of common sense. If they did, we would have had term limits 200 years ago, and we wouldn't even be in the mess that we're in today. Some things never change, and unfortunately, a lack of common sense among most of our elected officials is definitely never going to change.